That Himalayan pink salt you switch to for health reasons? Independent lab testing found it has the highest microplastics of any salt tested, worse than cheap table salt. The Celtic sea salt wellness influencers recommend? Now facing lawsuits for lead levels that exceed safe limits for children? I spent 2 weeks analyzing EPA's certified laboratory reports testing salt brands for heavy metals and microplastics. What I found will flip everything you thought you knew about salt. The next 15 minutes, you'll see actual lab numbers showing which salts are contaminated and which to test completely clean. Let's start with the biggest betrayals. Item number 1. Coarse Himalayan pink salt. This one hurts. Years Himalayan pink salt has been marketed as the healthiest option, 84 trace minerals. Ancient purity, free from modern pollution. The wellness industry built an empire on this narrative. A 2023 study, published in Environmental Science and Pollution Research, tested multiple salt types and found coarse Himalayan pink. Salt had the highest microplastics load of all salts tested. Researchers found 34.43% fiber contamination in coarse Himalayan salt versus just 1.63% in fine versions from the same Pakistani mines. Heavy metals are also present. One independent lab test found Himalayan pink salt samples exceeding 2 milligrams per kilogram of lead, enough to require warning labels in some jurisdictions. The contamination comes from industrial mining equipment, conveyor belts, and processing machinery that introduce microplastic fibers and metal particles. You paid premium prices thinking you were avoiding contamination. Lab testing says you got the opposite. Item number 2. Celtic sea salt. Selena, naturally the health food community's favorite. Hand-raked from Brittany coast using 2,000-year-old methods. Traditional, natural, mineral. Rich, except independent testing found something disturbing. AB&RF laboratory testing found Selena naturally Celtic sea salt contains approximately 489 parts per billion of lead. That's 2.3 micrograms per teaspoon. For reference, the FDA's daily safe limit for children is 3 micrograms. A few shakes put kids over the safety threshold. The company is now facing lawsuits over these lead levels. The AB&RF study specifically stated Celtic salt contains measurable levels of lead that introduce bioaccumulative substances affecting the nervous system and kidneys over time. The contamination comes from the harvesting method. Those romantic clay ponds on France's coast, they collect industrial runoff, agricultural pesticides, and ocean pollution that concentrates heavy metals. Traditional doesn't mean clean. Lab tested means clean. Item number 3. Maldon sea salt. Flakes, those beautiful pyramid flakes beloved by professional chefs. The finishing salt that costs $8 for a small box. Premium texture, gourmet reputation, sophisticated branding. A study published by the National Institutes of Health tested Maldon and found 8.4 milligrams per kilogram of lead. That's 8,400 parts per billion. Shockingly high for a premium product marketed to discerning cooks. The source explains everything. Maldon is harvested from the Blackwater estuary in Essex, England, an area that receives agricultural drainage and has an industrial activity history. Those pollutants concentrate during evaporation and end up in your finishing salt. The irony is painful. People pay premium prices specifically for pure, natural salt to sprinkle on carefully prepared dishes. Every pinch delivers lead along with flavor. For finishing salts, there are cleaner alternatives that don't sacrifice your health for texture. Item number 4. La Baleine Fine Sea Salt French branding. Whale logo. Mediterranean imagery, suggesting European quality and traditional harvesting. La Baleine positions itself as the premium alternative to generic table salt. Ingredients reveal the truth. Sea salt, potassium, ferrocyanide. It's an anti-caking agent containing cyanide compounds, all FDA approved and considered safe. It's a synthetic laboratory chemical added to prevent clumping. La Baleine is sourced from Mediterranean waters, but then refines its stripping minerals and adding chemicals just like Morton. You're paying $6 for French aesthetics wrapped around industrial processing. And like all sea salts from modern oceans, microplastics are present. Research shows approximately 90% of sea salts contains microplastic contamination from ocean pollution. Made in France doesn't mean unprocessed. It means French factories refined it the same way American factories do. Item number 5. Generic sea salt from polluted waters. Typical sea salt from various brands, especially those sourced near industrial areas, shipping routes, or agricultural coastlines. The data is sobering. Studies published in Environmental Science and Technology found roughly 90% of sea salt contains microplastics, including polyethylene terephthalate, PET, polypropylene PP, and polyethylene PE, common plastic polymers from bottles, packaging, and fishing nets. Research published in Science. Advances raise concerns that microplastics don't just pass through harmlessly, they carry absorbed pesticides, heavy metals, and flame retardants. Long-term exposure may cause inflammation, oxidative stress, and immune disruption. Beyond microplastics, sea salt from polluted waters concentrates mercury, lead, arsenic, and cadmium during evaporation. A 2023 study found that a significant fraction of contamination is introduced during processing through equipment and packaging, not just from seawater itself. Source location matters enormously, but most brands don't disclose exact harvesting sites. Item number 6. Lawry's seasoned salt, that orange canister for burgers and fries. Lawry's built an empire on flavor convenience, and millions rely on it for easy seasoning. Ingredients: salt, sugar, paprika, turmeric, onion powder, garlic powder, cornstarch, paprika, oleoresin, tricholicum, phosphate. 9 ingredients. Sugar is second more sugar than any individual spice. You're not seasoning with salt, you're seasoning with salt-flavored sugar blend. Every shake adds glucose along with sodium, a hidden sugar source people don't account for. 2. Anti-caking agents: treacle, phosphate, and cornstarch are needed because sugar makes it sticky. Some individuals report allergic reactions to alumino-containing anti-caking agents, though the science remains contested. This isn't salt with seasonings. It's a manufactured blend formulated for shelf stability. At $5 for 8 ounces, buy real salt and add your own spices. At least you'll know what you're consuming. Item number 7. Generic table salt with anti-caking agents, various manufacturers. Producing refined table salt loaded with additives like sodium aluminosilicate, calcium silicate, and yellow prussiate of soda, sodium ferrocyanide containing cyanide. While refined table salt actually tests fairly low for heavy metals and microplastics due to purification, it earns this ranking for questionable additives and complete mineral depletion. The refining process heats salt to extreme temperatures, removing contaminants, but also stripping all 60-plus trace minerals. You're left with 99.9% pure sodium chloride, no magnesium, calcium, or potassium that naturally occur in unprocessed salt. Then manufacturers add back iodine, which is important for thyroid health, along with anti-caking chemicals. Some people report sensitivity to aluminum compounds, though reactions are individual. You're getting heavily processed product with unnecessary additives. It's not the worst contamination-wise, but far from ideal when better alternatives exist at similar prices. Item number 8. Windsor table salt, Canada's Morton equivalent with identical formula. Salt, calcium silicate, dextrose iodine. Same anti-caking agent, same sugar stabilizer, same 99.9% refinement. Windsor represents the global industrial standard. Fully refined sodium chloride with synthetic chemicals added for flow and iodine fortification. Nothing uniquely terrible. Just generic industrial salt, doing what every mass-market brand does. The processing removes contaminants good, but also strips beneficial minerals bad, and adds chemicals back for convenience. From a contamination standpoint, refined salts like Windsor test cleaner than sea salts for heavy metals and microplastics. But you're getting rebuilt sodium chloride, not food from Earth. At $3 per canister, you're paying for consistency and convenience. Not glamorous, not mineral-rich, not contaminated, just processed. My dear ol', 8 salts down, and the healthy options tested worst. Hit subscribe now, because the next 2 will shock you. 1 cheap salt tests cleaner than premium brands, and 1 artisan salt is actually verified pure. Safer pick number 1, Diamond Crystal Kosher Salt After. Analyzing over 120 hours of EPA-certified lab testing from multiple independent laboratories. One researcher concluded Diamond Crystal Kosher salt is the cleanest widely available salt and made it their family's staple. ABNRF testing found diamond crystal completely clean, no detectable heavy metals. No Lead Safe Mama's independent testing confirmed non-detect for lead, mercury, cadmium, and arsenic. This isn't just low levels, it's below the limit of detection, meaning laboratory instruments at parts per billion sensitivity couldn't find these contaminants. Multiple health researchers have identified diamond crystal as their top recommendation. It consistently tests cleaner than specialty salts, sea salts, and even other kosher salt brands. Why so clean? Diamond crystal is refined through brine washing that strips away heavy metals and eliminates microplastic contamination pathways. The extensive processing removes both impurities and trace minerals, leaving nearly pure sodium chloride. The texture is notably different from other kosher salts. Diamond crystal has delicate, flaky, pyramid-shaped crystals that dissolve quickly and are easy to pinch. Professional chefs prefer it because the structure makes seasoning control easier. The downsides: it's not iodized, though diamond crystal makes an iodized version, and it lacks trace minerals found in unrefined salts. You're getting pure sodium chloride without the complexity of unprocessed salt. But from a pure contamination standpoint, the focus of lab testing diamond crystal kosher salt is exceptionally clean. At $8 for 3 pounds, it's widely available at grocery stores and costs less than contaminated premium salts. For most people wanting the best combination of purity, availability, and price, diamond crystal offers verified cleanliness, backed by multiple independent laboratories. Sometimes the boring choice is actually the smartest choice. Safer pick number 2, Redmond Real Salt, single ingredient, salt. Right. Mined from an ancient Utah seabed that was oceaned 200 million years ago, before modern pollution existed. This is the only widely available unrefined salt that combines trace minerals with verified low contamination. While Redmond doesn't publish the same extensive third-party testing as specialty spring salts, the source provides inherent advantages. Ancient seabed deposits are protected from ocean microplastics, industrial runoff, and modern heavy metal contamination that affects sea salts. The pink-beige color from iron oxide and 60 trace minerals proves it's never been refined or bleached. You're getting calcium, magnesium, potassium, and dozens of other elements that industrial refining strips away. Here's the key test. Redmond Real Salt. Clumps when exposed to humidity because minerals are hygroscopic. They attract and hold moisture. This is proof of mineral content. Industrial salts with anti-caking agents never clump because chemistry prevents it. The taste is noticeably different from pure sodium chloride. There's mineral complexity, subtle earthiness, and less harsh bite. Professional chefs and home cooks who switch notice immediately, especially in simple preparations where salt is the primary seasoning. Redmond is family-owned with complete transparency. You can see the mine location on Google Maps. They explain their harvesting openly. No corporate acquisitions, no cost-cutting reformulations, no mystery sourcing. Available in fine grind, coarse, and kosher flakel with the same single ingredient. At $9 for 16 ounces, it costs more than diamond crystal but provides trace minerals that refined salt lacks. For people wanting unrefined salt with mineral content and low contamination risk, Redmond Real Salt offers the best combination. Ancient deposits avoid modern pollution while delivering nutritional complexity refined salts can't provide. Lab testing flipped the script. The healthiest salts, Himalayan pink and Celtic sea salt, tested highest for microplastics and heavy metals. Meanwhile, refined diamond crystal tested completely clean at parts per billion sensitivity. The lesson? Marketing narratives don't override laboratory data. Natural doesn't automatically mean pure. Processed doesn't automatically mean contaminated. For most people, diamond crystal kosher salt offers verified purity at grocery store prices. For those wanting trace minerals with low contamination risk, Redmond Real Salt from ancient deposits avoids modern pollution. Test is simple. Demand laboratory verification, not marketing claims. 8. Check independent testing. Know your source. Make informed decisions. Hit subscribe for more evidence-backed food analysis. Drop a comment which salt shocked you most. Keep your standards high and your salt actually tested.